Today, episode 84.
We are on episode 84, aren't we? Because we got that hiccuped as well.
Yeah,
we did get that wrong as well, so my apologies. Yeah, welcome to episode 84 with myself, Thomas.
And myself, Stephen. Good to be back with you once again.
Yeah.
And today, we are whispering.
Yeah, very, very gently.
Because today's episode is The Plant Whisperer.
Yeah.
And it's about learning to recognise what your plants are saying to you.
Yeah.
Because your plants do talk to you, and they may not do it in the traditional methods of using their vocal cords and saying, hey, you need to give me some more nitrogen. They're going to do it in slightly different ways. And once you have stopped really looking at your notes in depth...
I was just going over my lines very, very quickly there because I didn't want to forget what I was doing, by the way.
Of course. So, we're going to start off with, what are your plants saying to you?
Yeah.
What do your plants do to tell you that something is wrong?
Yeah, well, basically, the plant whisperer, everyone's wondering. We've seen the dog whisperer on the telly before. The same sort of thing.
Isn't there a horse whisperer as well?
I don't know what you get up to in your spare time, Stephen, but we'll just keep it to the plants at the moment anyway.
Okay.
So, an understanding of a plant. Why do you need to understand a plant? What's the point in this? What are we talking about here? It's a load of rubbish, this. Understand plants? Are we ready to be shipped off to the loony bin?
Loony bins.
Yeah, what's going on here, Stephen? Explain. Let's explain.
So we have to understand our plants, because if we don't understand them, I'll give you an example. Like if we don't understand women, and look how much shit we get off the women.
Exactly.
So you need to understand your plants, because you don't want to be getting shit off your plants. And to not get shit off your plants, you want to be spotting deficiencies. There's times when you'll be doing something wrong, and your plant's going to let you know that what you're doing is wrong. And if you're not there to spot it, then that problem that you've created is going to exacerbate. There's the big word of the day.
Ooh.
And going to cause you more problems. So at the end of that, yield's going to drop, quality's going to drop, taste, flavour, all that's going to drop out, and you're going to end up with a very poor result. So it's about whispering to your plants and letting them whisper to you.
It's about understanding the plant completely. And as Stephen said before, if the plant doesn't look happy or isn't happy, it will let you know very, very quickly. And it will do this through various sign language, so to speak. And you need to be able to interpretate this, i.e. via the colour of the plant, the way it stands, or the leaves, the way the shapes of the leaves are, the colour of the leaves, the
it is good
texture of the leaf.
I've just gone on to the fact about sign language, because plants do different things.
With the leaves, as if they were hands, they may curl up, they may curl down, they may curl inside what might be called boat leaf.
Yeah,
they may
just completely droop.
Yeah, they may get puffed up. Yes, so basically, serrated edges.
Yeah.
All of these signs of the plant saying to you, something's changed or something's not right at the moment. Now what are you going to do about it? And we always talk about CSI and being the detective in the room and constantly, looking at the plant to look for these signs. This is what we're talking about, plant whispering, interacting with the plant. So when it shows you a sign of maybe, I'm curled down a bit, I'm a bit underwatered, you're not going to throw loads of more cocoa in there and not put any water in, are you?
Dose it with a nice bit of nitrogen.
Yeah, no.
That's what it said on the internet.
No, well, what it says on the internet, there you go.
I'm going to start off with...
So basically, if they curl down like that, they probably do need a little bit of water, but you need some further investigation, because if they're too clawed, then it could be further problems. It could be over-fertilisation.
Yeah, could be a root problem. Could be a whole host of things.
And the key to being a good plant whisperer is determining the different problems, because a lot of them can be similar to one another, and that's what makes you a good plant whisperer.
I want to start off with a little story, though.
Go for it.
It's a warning story to our growers. A customer came in the other day and said that he had nutrient burn. And he was telling me over the phone. We were diagnosing on the phone. And he told me he had nutrient burn because he had brown tips. Okay.
Brown what?
Brown tips.
Oh, okay.
No, did I...
No, carry on. I do apologise.
And he said that his EC was 1.6. He was still in veg. It had been quite warm that week, so I thought, yeah, it sounds legitimate. We can assume that is nutrient burn, brown tips. Okay, give your plants a flush, dial down the EC, and come in and see us in 2 or 3 days and see what's going on. So he comes in to see me and shows me a picture and goes, look at my nutrient burn, it's getting worse.
I'm just reading my notes.
It turned out that it wasn't actually nutrient burn, it was a potassium deficiency. But it wasn't even a potassium deficiency. It was, he then had purple stems, so his media was too cold. Therefore, potassium deficiency became an issue, which led on to what looked like nutrient burn, but the potassium deficiency is all the way around the serrated edge, not just at the tips. So a bad diagnosis there by the grower led to, now he called me back and he said, because I flushed it, I've now got a little bit of nitrogen deficiency. So you can see how this can tumble and become worse.
Especially if you don't undertake all of the aspects of the deficiency in every element to clue finding what the problem is.
Yeah.
And to interpreting what the plant, how the plant wants you to respond to its current situation.
Right, let's kick it off with botrytis. What is your plant going to be telling you when you have botrytis?
Well, they're going to have some sort of powdery mildew on them.
Possibly.
Possibly.
But not always.
Not always.
But the reason, I understand the reason that you've said powdery mildew there is because botrytis and powdery mildew
go hand in hand.
With high humidity.
Low
levels of ventilation, poor extraction.
Or even extreme cold air being pushed in at some point.
Yeah, big swings in daytime and nighttime temperature, meaning that in the mornings when the light comes on, dew forms, and if you've got a lot of vegetative growth, humidity can form in between the leaves and cause mould.
Yeah.
So, with botrytis, you are going to see, also called grey mould.
Yeah.
You tend to see this on
grapes.
grapes.
Got a few different names and variations for it.
You tend to see this on grapes, and the one that most people will see it on is strawberries. When you leave a pack of strawberries out and they get that horrible grey mould,
the fluff,
and then you sort of
belly button fluff. Not my belly button. I mean, I've heard it looks like belly button fluff.
Okay. And then it just collapses in on itself, and the strawberry is no longer edible.
Yeah, unless
you, being on Bear Grylls, would decide to just chop it off and eat it.
Yeah, just wiping.
Your food habits aren't normal though, so we'll just ignore
I know
that.
We did debate that Toblerone that being in the car for 3 months yesterday, didn't we?
No. We were bringing a car back yesterday, and I'm starving, half an hour away from food, and he pulls out a Toblerone that had been in the glove compartment for about a year, opens it all up and says, yeah, look, that's sound, and looked at it, and trust me, it was not sound. It had grey, chocolatey, fatty all over it, and he went, if you're on Bear Grylls, you'd eat it, wouldn't you? Said probably, but I'm 30 minutes away from a lovely cafe here. I'm not going to fucking start on that.
Anyway,
so what you're going to want to spot with your botrytis is one of the things that I spotted was a brown leaf,
a dead leaf.
Yeah, if you see that brown dead leaf and it's sticking out, it's a bit of an anomaly compared to the rest of the plant, and it's sticking out, and you pull it out and it just falls apart. It's trouble.
Candy floss.
You've got botrytis, and it's not good because you're then starting on a losing battle.
You've already, as a plant whisperer, not been whispering enough.
Yeah, not been listening.
Yeah, and listening and whispering because you've got this problem. And what we continuously harp on about is not getting the problems. Yet we do have answers, and we've got the answers wrote down here in UV light, and you can get rid of them, whatever. So basically what the message we're always trying to get across, if you become a good plant whisperer, you will have adhered to the conditions that are right for your plant. So you would have seen that your plant wasn't living in complete harmony, in a perfect equilibrium. Yeah, there's one for you. So because you've chose to ignore what your plant's saying to you, you've then ended up with botrytis. So then you're on the back end of this now, having to resolve the issue and install more circulation fans, reduce humidity. What else have we got on there? UV light to clean it. We've got them.
So if you haven't been allowing your plant to whisper to you, you've then got to look at a cure. Cures mean installing more circulating fans to move that air, But if you don't remove as much of that grey mould, as much of that botrytis as possible, the spores are then going to be passed around the plant and probably infect a lot more of your plant.
Yeah. But not only that, your plant has gone from a point of being in perfect health, then you've ignored it, and then it's become attacked by a disease, a botrytis, an infection. It's infected.
Yeah.
You can help this plant to regain its full health again. However,
it's always going to have
it's always been injured. It's been injured.
And it's slowed down as well.
Yeah, so your plant will never be as good as what it could have been if you would have been a very good plant whisperer.
You like my metaphors, and I like my car and my motorway metaphors.
There we go.
So if your journey is 12 weeks long,
yeah,
and you drive at a really good speed and everything's going really well,
yeah,
it's going to take you 12 weeks. It's going to take you 12 weeks to get there, let's say.
If your journey's 12 weeks.
If you're doing 12 weeks an hour.
Okay. All right.
If you have botrytis or any problems, you've got to pull over, have a little coffee,
yeah,
maybe have a bit of a, KFC.
You might be staying over for a few nights as well.
Yeah. So it's going to take you maybe 13 or 14 weeks to get to your destination.
Definitely, because you've gone into a 2-week bad period of rejuvenating the plant, treating it, and then rejuvenating it.
And then cracking on, getting it back up to full speed.
Yeah.
Don't be going for pit stops.
No.
It's not good. So we like prevention, because prevention is always better than cure.
There we go.
Bullet points, good air movement. Get some clip fans in there, especially in flower. If you're in a room, install some floor fans, some oscillating fans. Just I don't like to have plants blown all over the place.
Well, as we keep harping on, we've done the podcast about humidity. Grow humidity to flowering humidity are completely different. If you are not adhering to those differences, you're then not paying attention to your plant, and therefore you are having botrytis.
Yeah. Next one is lower the humidity during flower, like you've just said. Removing large amounts of vegetative growth. So if you've got really heavy on the veg cycle and there's loads of leaves touching each other, anything that's not receiving light, take it off. It's not doing anything.
No.
It's increasing your chances of mould. Just get rid of it. But don't go overboard. Anything that's not receiving light, also called lollipopping.
Yeah.
Big swings in temperatures, so having a high lights on temperature and a really low lights off temperature. The big swing, it's going to increase your stretching of your plant. It's also going to play havoc with your humidity levels and the relative humidity. You're going to have dew forming like you do on the grass in the mornings.
Yeah.
That's going to form on your plants, and that's where the moulds and pathogens love that shit, so don't have that shit. Plant wounds can increase your risk of botrytis as well. The really horrible situation where, especially if you're scrogging a plant and you're manipulating it,
and it snaps.
Yeah, you're not too careful.
Yeah.
You can snap a branch.
Yeah.
You try best. You cover it up. You
Sellotape it.
Yeah.
Sellotape. Yeah, we did say
Put it all back
sellotape
together.
Tape it back together.
But unfortunately, something got in that period because it was in the vegetative period. Humidity was high. Something got in. We chopped the stem. What was right through the middle of the stem?
Boom.
Black, horrible.
Yeah.
Black, massive death.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. It did affect the eventual outcome. Not too badly, thank God. But it definitely did affect it. We had about a 4 or 5 week pit stop on that one. What is next? So that's it. Prevention, better than cure. Listen to your plants and see what they like. But essentially, low humidity in flower, good air circulation, remove vegetative growth, and botrytis shouldn't be a problem. Moving on to powdery mildew, because they are essentially conditions-wise one and the same.
Yeah.
You will see the plant is telling you it has got white circular patches.
This is the one I mentioned, like I touched on before.
Yeah, like someone sprinkled
flour.
Run into your room at night, thought they'd play a bit of a dickhead and throw fucking flour.
Yeah.
Like the Great British Bake Off getting us back.
Oh, no, don't get them off onto that one again.
Going round fucking sprinkling flour on your green plants. That is powdery mildew. But fortunately, powdery mildew isn't really that bad because it is very quickly recognisable. White mildew onto a green background. You can recognise it pretty quick. To get rid of it, exactly the same as getting rid of botrytis, lower the humidity.
You can blast this with the light as well.
Yeah, with the UV light.
Yeah.
So talk about
turns it black as well. It actually burns it.
Yeah, that's you can actually see a little bit of smoke sometimes rising off, depending on how bad it is. But with the UV light, some people use. We personally in the shop we've got clean light, It's a specific wavelength of UV. You scan it over your plant, making sure you wear your glasses and your gloves so you don't burn your skin. You scan it over the plant, it will kill.
It's mad. It's like this little mad bulb, yeah, because you know what I'm like. I love to know all this weird stuff about it. Just look at it, and it's got, when it's switched off, it's got like a little tiny little glass ball bearing in it, yeah? And when you switch it on, that just goes... Oh,
what does it do?
It's like, yeah, it's like something out of Star Wars or something. Yeah, it's good though. It does work.
I'll see you one night with your lightsaber.
You see,
black cape.
You get these mad. You think my glasses are mad? You want to see the glasses that you get with that thing? They're the worst glasses ever in the box. Yeah, you got to put them on when you're using it.
Doc.
Special gloves like mine. Yeah.
I've got some cures here actually as well. Some novel cures. These are what some people like to use. Milk.
I've never heard of that one before.
Well, I believe it's due to the alkaline nature of milk. Powdery mildew mustn't like an alkaline environment, so milk will probably kill it.
I was just thinking a nice glass of milk after you've been in there sweating your
Makes
backside.
You nice strong, so you can batter the powdery mildew. With milk, you'd use a 1-to-9 ratio of milk to water.
Baking soda, bloody hell, you can use that for everything.
That's going to lower the acidity of it.
Neem oil. Is that the cure or prevention?
That would cure. I've never really used neem oil too much. It's quite hard to get hold of these days, isn't it? If anybody knows...
I used to use neem oil. I used to buy neem oil in my early grow days as a preventative for pest and disease. But I've just never heard of it. I haven't actually seen neem oil for a long time.
If any of the distributors still distribute neem oil, let us know, because a couple of people do ask for it.
Yeah.
Hydrogen peroxide, again, just a nasty
product that we don't like. It's not something we're into, is it?
The top three are pretty natural. Hydrogen peroxide it acts like a free radical type product.
SM90 is the next
1-to-5 ratio of SM90. I think that's probably the most popular. Yeah, and the UV lights will work. Another top tip that I picked up was a damp cloth.
Yeah, just removing it,
wiping it off.
Better than watching it sit there and spread.
And then drop the humidity, and that'll work as well.
Boom.
Okay, so that was when the growers got the conditions wrong. What has happened? So we are on to heat stress.
Yeah.
What happens during heat stress?
Oh, just let me say, see this heat stress, yeah? If we burnt your head out with a bit of boitritis and powdery mildew and blah, 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 yeah? Listen to this heat stress part, because you need to pay attention, because this is the most common one that we come across all the time, because everyone's got to deal with it, ourselves included, because we live in a country where we have 4 variations in season, and we have climate change constantly. We have to be like the weatherman, not Fred, because we don't condone his actions.
No.
So, sorry, Fred, but not really.
Not sorry, Fred.
No. So, basically, we always say you've got to be like the weatherman or weatherwoman. Yeah. And the reason why we go on about this is because of heat or cold. But heat stress is a common problem that everybody continuously has to deal with. And it shows in the plant. Yeah,
I had to point somebody actually to the weather app on the iPhone, and they said to me, they went, "I've got this problem." I said, "Yeah, it's because it's 77% humidity today. The temperature's 24 degrees, and that's where your problem's stemming from." And I went, "How did you know that?" I went, "Well, yeah, mate.
Slide it down. Even I know how to do that. You slide the thing down, and it just goes boom.
And there's a weather, humidity, temperature, maximum temperature, minimum temperature. It's an amazing app, and it's free, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
So make sure you become the weatherman.
Yeah.
Woman. Or weatherwoman. Yeah. Politically correct.
Yes.
Or weather person.
Yeah.
You're a weather person now.
Okay.
You're a weatherer.
Yeah. Or don't become a witherer like most people's plants in the heat stress.
Oh, you're on fire.
I'm on fire. I'm pointing.
You've had your milk.
That's it. Give it to the plant, though.
And it wouldn't have got powdery mildew.
Oh, pack it in, please. Heat stress symptoms. Plants could be dead.
I'm doing this, and that's no good for the people listening to the podcast, is it? So what I am signifying here is the plant leaf curls upwards.
Can we just open it up a bit, so it's like a bit more at the tips there at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, your fingers just click there. So your tips are going like claws turning up now.
Okay.
They're not good, that.
No, and we call it boat leaf. We call it boat leaf.
No, we don't. That's a mistake. Boat leaves when the leaves.
Oh, kills. inwards.
Yeah.
Who else calls it boat leaf, by the way? Is that just a Liverpool thing, or
No,
is that a UK thing?
We'll see now, but I'll put my money on that's not a Liverpool thing.
Okay.
That is that's the word.
Synonymous.
Yeah, that's the word for it.
I'm going to say synonymous because it's.
If it's not, tell us, please. Give us your word for it. That's my word. What everyone understands, boat leaf. That's my word. What's your word? The scientific.
Heat stress.
So basically, yeah, carry on.
So you're going to see leaf curling upwards and probably a little bit of wilting on the lower leaves as well.
The boat leaf will also come in with not just the heat, with the bad breathing of the plant. Air circulation and CO2 and blah blah, because that comes into that process as well. So these will also go hand in hand. So you'll be constantly looking at the temperature within the room. You'll be looking at the intake and air extraction. You'll be looking at the equations and making sure those are right, i.e., what are they talking about now? We are talking about, that thing, the fan with the plug, it sucks the air out, and that carbon thing, filter. They need to be equally matched in power, and they also need to be able to deal with the amount of heat and air that you need to remove from that room, i.e., depending on how many lights you have in the room and depending on what the temperature is outside and stuff like that. So, very important stuff.
So that was your prevention. Make sure
very complicated.
Make sure you've got your thermometers on as well. For God's sake, I don't know how many times you have to go on about it.
So whoever is still is growing without a thermometer, just
sort it out.
Go and watch somebody else's show. Can't be bothered.
Move the lights away from the top of the canopy if needs be.
Yeah.
600 watt light, have it approximately 60 centimetres. But if heat is an issue, move it a little bit further away. Have it 65, 70 centimetres away. And that becomes a lot of, if you've got multiple lights, don't worry about raising them and going, the lights can be further away and got all these problems. If you've got multiple lights, it's not a problem. Move them a bit further away. Proper extraction, like you said, for the amount of light inside.
Proper air intake as well.
Good air intake. CO2 supplementation helps as well with air exchange in your hot environment. So if you just can't get those temperatures down, you've done everything that we've already told you to do. A bit of CO2 supplementation does help.
Definitely.
So after heat stress, and you've seen your plants and everything's gone okay with that. Now we've come into the winter. It's November, and we get cold stress. What is the plant whispering to you? Well, not really much at all. Actually.
It's slowed down for a start. So plant slowed down in the cold.
It doesn't really say much at first. It just goes, things aren't too good around here. I'm just going to stop growing for a little minute.
But then once it stops growing, you haven't stopped putting the water in. You're still doing the same job. So this plant's not using as much energy now and is not requiring as much nutrient and water because it's not really doing anything. But you're still putting the same amount in. Plants start becoming backlogged with this, or can then become getting root rotted. The media is becoming very cold. Plants very cold. Lights are going off. The extraction's still on. Humidity's very low. Temperature's very low. This is going to end up in a bad scenario.
And it's just going to accumulate symptoms as well. Now, I mentioned before, this person, I thought he had nutrient burning. It actually turned out, I've left it on now, he had cold media. So he needed to just put some heaters in, and it would have stopped everything. Because when you've got cold, the roots can't uptake nutrients, and phosphorus uptake is dramatically reduced in cold media. So that led to potassium.
The main reason for this as well, especially when we go into the winter, people don't accommodate for when the lights go off. So for some people who go into the winter and run the lights on in the daytime and don't add additional heat into the room, it then goes into the nighttime. The lights are off. The extraction's still pulling. These rooms are getting really cold. These are going to like 8 degrees. You're practically looking at freezing your plants. You're slowing down every aspect of its growth. The best tip, as we always say to everyone, we sell contact timers that has a heater plug, so you can plug a heater in, and before your lights go off, the heater comes on, and before your lights come on, the heater goes off, and it will constantly keep this in check for you. Perfect.
Really simple. piece of equipment.
It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be a problem at all.
Made by Davin.
Yeah.
They are Davin timers.
Yeah.
That's what we sell in our shop anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just a really nice feature and really handy come the winter, come this time of year. You'll also probably notice purple stems as well.
Yeah.
Purple stems. Not always, because your media's too cold.
Yeah, you can get that through a few different variations, but if you're getting it, you're getting signs of something's not right.
It could be, sometimes it can be just genetics.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's because there is something wrong, like you said.
Yeah.
Prevention. Increased temperatures. Bar heaters work really well. Blow heaters. But you've got to be careful with blow heaters. Cause
I'm not a big fan of them.
I know, because they can heat up.
I'm on fire here.
Yeah. We have some sound effects, please, Rick.
Yeah.
Hey, we need some sound effects every time he makes a crack. Blow heaters, though, are going to heat up pockets of your room, and it's circulating warm air around. You're going to hit it.
Messes with the humidity a bit.
Yeah. So I probably wouldn't recommend blow heaters, but it's better than nothing.
Better
if
than
that's
not.
all that
Better
you've
than
got.
not.
And water heaters, if you're in hydroponics, DWC.
Yeah, definitely. We've
flood
always
drain
harped
system.
on, Steve loves to harp on about the level of oxygen at various temperatures. So basically, if your water's too cold, it won't have any oxygen, and that's not good.
Heat mats.
Yeah.
If you are propagating, doing young little ones, in the winter, get heat mats in there, and they won't have cold problems either. Let's have a little look at a comment. A boat leaf, someone calls taco leaf. Phil calls it taco leaf.
Okay.
Good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
He goes to Nando's too often now.
Yeah, taco leaf.
Best fix for cold roots at night is greenhouse tube heaters. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Next one is pH stress.
And the waterproof them heaters as well.
They'd have to be, wouldn't they?
They are, which is good. No, not these. Yeah.
The water heaters are waterproof.
Yeah,
That's a really good feature. If your water heaters aren't waterproof, there's going to have problems.
There you go. I set myself up for that one, didn't I? Hey. Ba-boom.
Go on, what were you going to say? I'll
About the heaters it actually meant was the
bar heaters.
The tube heaters, which are perfect for in a grow room because they go on the floor and you always splash water on the floor, so
Always.
they're good.
Yeah. I want to say a big well done to every single grower, to be honest, but more specifically, every single UK grower in the giant veg community. Anyone that's grown vegetables and has been at Malvern or any of these shows recently, because the giant veg and the vegetable growing competition growing has come to, it's about to end, to be honest. All the competitions have come to an end. Just had Malvern last weekend, which is really well. And I asked Kevin Forty, who's probably one of the most prominent, if not the most prominent giant vegetable grower. I asked him to send me a list of everyone that's won, just so we could give them a little shout out. So I think we'll do that really quickly now.
Go ahead, go for it. You can go for it. You've got the message.
So, first one is Peter Galen. CANNA, Peter Pumpkin.
Oh, Peter Pumpkin.
Peter Pumpkin.
Yeah.
He won
CANNA
with 251.8 kilogram. Yeah. 251.8 kilo pumpkin.
Boom.
Well done.
There you go, Peter Pumpkin.
Peter. Squash was David. Firstly, I do apologise if I say any of these names wrong. Sorry.
I don't. I think it's funny.
Squash, David Maund with 188.2 kilo squash.
Okay. You've got a bit of a list there, so get a move on.
Okay. Marrow was Mark Baggs, 68.8 kilo. The cabbage was David Thomas, 40.8 kilos. The leek was Paul Rochester, 9.6 kilos. The carrot was Peter Glazebrook, 7.28 kilos. The swede was Ian Neal, 33 kilos. The celery was Ian Neal, 32.8 kilos. The melon was Kevin and Gareth 40 and Jamie, 9.4 kilos. The beetroot was David Thomas, 20.7. The radish was again Kevin and Gareth 40 and Jamie, 6.9 kilos. David Thomas got the parsnip at 7.12 kilos. Ian Neal again with the watermelon, 39.2 kilos. Joe Atherton got the biggest onion, 6.98 kilos. C. Evans had the tomato, 2.76 kilo. Peter Glazebrook is the champion onion grower, 3 onions, 9.28 kilos. We had Joe with the potato, 2.18 kilos. Heavy cucumber, Peter Glazebrook again, he's a legend, 11.98 kilos. The heaviest bell pepper, that was the one that Kevin and Gareth.
How heavy was that?
That was half a kilo pepper, bell pepper. Major. Well done on that one.
Because I loved them. We went to the AutoPot thing, didn't we? And we got loads of seeds off.
Well, that was actually grown in an AutoPot.
Shut up.
Yeah, so shout
We
out
need
to
to see some
AutoPot.
pictures of that stuff, because that's good, that.
We'll share them on our Facebook as well. Where were we? So well done on the heaviest pepper. Red cabbage, David Thomas, 23 kilos. Longest beetroot, Joe Atherton. Longest carrot, longest parsnip, Joe Atherton. Joe Atherton likes the long stuff. Longest cucumber, David Thomas. Longest runner bean, Martin Ironstone, 0.804 metres. Well done to everyone that competed on the giant veg.
Done.
And especially well done to Kevin and Gareth and Jamie for the UK bell pepper record. Take my hat off to you, well done. Grown in an AutoPot. Superb. Right, we are charged. We are ready.
So,
pH stress. I've written quite a bit for this, haven't I?
Yeah.
pH stress. You will see, what will the plant show you? So, pH stress, you start to see brown spots appear on the leaf.
Yeah, rustic spots.
Rustic spots. And that's because of the pH swinging up and down causes these rustic spots. More common in hydroponics than cocoa. More common in cocoa than soil because they have better buffering capacities than the hydroponics, and soil better than cocoa.
I just wanted to pull one of these out. It's a very
extensive.
Right. Get this out so we can.
So what we're pulling out for the podcast people who are listening is a deficiency chart by CANNA.
Yeah.
A very good deficiency
Very
chart.
good. We haven't picked this because CANNA's paid us, by the way, even though I wear my CANNA gloves because I love them, because they're great. This chart is the dog's bollocks, and it's the only company that does one. Let me just pull it. Can I pull it down a bit? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're a good grow shop like us, you can get this in our store. You can pick this up free of charge. They should be in every grow store up and down the country. A lot of other companies do a lot of other different types of things, but this is really good because it shows the deficiencies ranging from calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, nitrogen, and we've got some more in-depth information on the back telling you how to look at this and you put this into your plant whispering skills. If you haven't got one of these, you need to get one. You get one from your local grow store. If they're a load of crap and they haven't got you one, got one for you, don't worry. You can send us a message, and with that sound, we'll send you one, even though you don't come to our shop. How great are we? Okay, so I just wanted to show you that because
we'll even include the stamp.
Yeah. So there you go, at no cost to you. So there you go. Good piece of information to help you become a good plant whisperer.
So for pH accuracy, I always get asked, is it really essential in soil? Is it essential in water, in cocoa? Is it essential in hydro? It is absolutely essential in hydro. It is very good to use it in cocoa. And you don't have to because soil's got a good buffering capacity, but it is good because it allows you to spot certain things that might be going on if you grow in soil. The ideal pH for hydro and cocoa is 5.8. This allows you to have a bit of a pH drop. If it drops by 0.3 to 5.5, you're still in a safe zone. 5.5 is fine in cocoa and hydro. And it also allows you to, when the pH rises, which it will do in vegetative growth, the pH will rise, so it goes from 5.8 to 6 to 6.3.
Can I just point something out? If you go to your grow store and you ask them, okay, I'm growing in hydroponics, what should my pH be? This is a private joke as well from Jay from Highlight. If he's watching, or is he still in Canada?
He's back now.
He's back. Well, if he's tuned in, he'll get this one. And somebody asks you, well, you know, what pH should they be using? And they turn around and say, well, it's anywhere between 5 and 7. You know you're in the wrong grow shop. Sorry,
it's even worse when they say, what should my pH be? And I've overheard a friend telling their friend, it's got to be about 1.5, and you go, no, that's really acidic. You're on about EC there. No, I'm on about pH. What's EC?
Sorry, Steve. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Carry on.
So yeah, 5.8 is a good point to get your nutrients at, to add them to your plants. And its pH is obviously important for nutrient uptake as well. So deficiencies can occur if your pH is out. So one of the first things to check when your plants start having problems, go straight to your pH, make sure it's on point in cocoa or in soil. If you just want to see what's happening in the rhizosphere and the root ball, and it's worth giving them a flush out with plain water, measure the pH, and measure the pH of the runoff as well, and you'll be able to see what you're working with there.
If you don't understand what pH is for, basically it's a gateway, and it's a gateway that opens to allow your nutrients into your plant. If your pH isn't set at the exact correct point, gateway opening, yes, the gateway will be closed. So you will be putting nutrients into your water, into your plant, into your media, and your plant will not be able to eat it.
I've got a perfect thing to show people. Sorry for people listening on podcast. What we have here is a tray, roughly 30 centimetres long.
Yeah.
Can people see this? Right. And what you're going to do is you're going to be rain. You're going to be rain. So the point here is between 5.5 and 6.3. And the plants are taking up all your nutrients, all your rain.
Is that rainy enough?
Yeah, that's rainy enough. Perfect.
Okay.
So all your plants, now your pH swings out a little bit.
Ooh.
Your plant's only getting half the nutrients.
What's this here?
So this is an area of pH, maybe 6.8, where nutrient uptake is unavailable for.
But this is not the plant now.
The plant's still getting water, but it can't uptake it.
Oh my god!
So we correct the pH.
Ooh, and it's in the right zone.
It's in the right zone again.
Okay.
The pH gets a little bit too acidic.
Oh.
We're back in the maybe 5, goes a little bit
it.
low. So there you go. If you want to see that, if you listen to the podcast,
that was a state-of-the-art demonstration there.
Top of the notch. So yeah, also monitoring your pH can give you a futurist. What's the word? Can help you look into the future, because let's say, for example,
I'll start monitoring my pH every day
on a Saturday before
the velocity. Yeah.
If your pH suddenly drops and goes from 6 to 5 and is a really rapid drop, there's something wrong in the root zone. It could be a whole host of problems, but it's up to you to then become the detective and start investigating different areas. Is my root zone healthy? I'm not overwatering, underwatering. My nutrient levels are okay. And it's detective time. But the point is, monitoring your pH allows you to be
crucial.
Ahead of the game.
To be ahead of the game, buy a bloody pH pen. If you haven't got a pH pen, you're daft as a brush.
Barry's just commented and said, that's the off, it's going to end up fucking soaked. Get back to work. pH stress, so prevention, it's simple. Buy a pH pen.
Yeah.
If you was just starting up and you want to try and keep things to budget, buy a pH indicator kit for £2. You'll get universal solution. You'll get a little test tube. Put the water in the test tube. Add 2 or 3 drops of universal indicator. Compare the colour of your test tube to the colour chart you'll get, and you'll be able to see the pH. Boom, simple. And you'll be roughly in the right area. It's better than not using anything at all. Monitor pH daily. Keep a note of the fluctuations. So if your pH goes up by 0.2 every day, you know that's normal.
There'll be different variations in monitoring your pH, i.e. depending on what style and method you are of grower, cultivator, whatever.
In veg, your pH is likely to rise. In flowering, it should be pretty stable, but it does tend to drop sometimes a little bit in flowering as well.
Right, overwatering.
Yeah, the whole place is flooded.
Yeah, if you come into your grow room and you need a canoe and paddles, I think you've been overwatering too much.
You need to get that flexi tank sent back.
No, to be honest with you,
it doesn't say
overwatering. It does.
You've waterboarded it half to death.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely gone totally yellow. You've blocked out the nitrogen.
It can't speak to you because it's choking on.
Yeah, it's choking on the water. It's not sitting nice.
You terrorise your
It looks
plants.
very sad. It's a sad looking plant. It's becoming very yellow. Root rot will start becoming apparent within the media.
And the yellow one starts at the bottom of the plant and works its way upwards as well. And it's not, when we say overwatering as well, you can't really overwater a plant because DWC, the roots sit in water, don't they? So it's a lack of oxygenation. It's a lack of oxygen.
Through other various elements, maybe cold, heat. All of these together as one slow down the plant or stop the plant from being able to do certain tasks throughout its day-to-day life.
It looks a little bit like nitrogen deficiency, but it's a lot more common. So if you do have this yellowing leaf at the bottom, it's more than likely going to be because you've overwatered the plant rather than
you will need to replace some nitrogen in there as well.
Yeah. Good product for that. Dutch Pro's leaf green spray.
Yeah, Dutch Pro, boom.
Nice leaf green spray, ready to go from the bottle. Pick it up for £10 for a litre, ready to grow, spraying on the plants when the lights are off. really good product, and that's
Very good product.
If you've overwatered and looking a little bit yellow, this will help kickstart you back into life.
Yeah.
Not to give preference to one product over another,
but that product kicks ass, so I'm preferring it over another product. So there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Do you want me to mention one more product?
No,
which is good.
Come on then.
Nutriculture's Evolution Spray.
Okay.
That is another good product. Use that just exactly the same way you would do Dutch Bros Leaf Green, but our preference is Dutch Bros Leaf Green.
Yeah.
There you go.
Boom. There you go. So prevention, stop watering. Yeah, to switch the tap off. God's sake.
Dead simple.
Yeah. Overwatering can occur through a series of different ways and methods of growing, as I've said. A common one, AutoPot, top system, love the system. However, people don't address it properly, and when plants are small, they tend to overwater and blame the equipment when it's actually the grower not listening to the plant whisperer, or not being apparent, and this is hence the plants being waterlogged and having to do other things with it in its internal system. It's struggling to process the water, so other elements of the plant
something that we see quite a lot as well is the insidious effect. There's number two, big word number two, the insidious effect of overwatering. So it's not going to just go bang, you've overwatered one day and then all of a sudden you've got yellow leaves. You're going to overwater, and then you might leave it a day and the plant goes struggle, just got through that bit of a tough time, and then bang, you hit it again. Another 10 litres of water. Like,
it's torture.
Like, oh, for fuck's sake, struggle, just about get through that, and then bang, another 10 litres. It's a consistent overwatering that creates this problem. So ease off, preventing it. A lot of people use the 2-knuckle method. Stick your finger into the media.
Yeah.
If it's moist, don't water. If it's dry, give a little bit of feed. The other way is pick up your pots. If they're light, you can do the feed. If they're heavy, leave them alone. You don't need it.
If they are really, really wet, what I tend to do is fingers between the base root and then flip my plant and remove the pot, and then I'll have a sniff. And what I'm sniffing for is any foul smell.
Yeah.
Because I'm checking that I haven't got root rot now.
Okay.
Boom. Put the pot back in, the media back in the soil. Remove, if there's any excess water in some of these trays that are being hand watered, if it's sitting there for a long period of time, you'll start to see film going across it. Get it out of there. It shouldn't be there. If it's sitting there longer than a couple of hours, get it out of there. It should be absorbed and being turned into energy very quickly. If that's not happening, the plants, it's in a bad area at the moment, and it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, you need to maybe lower the humidity. If you're in this situation and they're just not drying out, lower your humidity. Maybe get the temperature up a little bit. That'll allow the plant to start drinking more water, transpiring, and getting rid of that water. And then don't go back to overwater.
But then you could have a low temperature in the night time when the lights are going off. So you need to simply just add some heat. You need to assess the whole picture. You need to learn and understand the plant in all of its aspects, so you can make an accurate decision on what and determine what the plant requires at that time.
A great method is bottom feeding.
Yeah.
Bottom feed, if it's too much, you can see because it hasn't taken it up, get rid of it.
Yeah.
If it takes it up really quickly within 2 or 3 minutes, for next time,
yeah,
you can give it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you've given each plant its own separate dose, because they're all individuals, really,
yeah,
and they all want different amounts of water rather than just 10 litres into the top of every single one of them. So bottom feeding we're a big fan of it.
Yeah.
The next one, the opposite
end of the scale, is underwatering.
You're going to look, symptoms, your plant is going to look similar to overwatering,
or heat stress as well can be at some point. To heat stress where it might it'll start dropping leaf as well. It will be killed. There's various stages of underwatering. It'd be good to have some good diagrams, but maybe if you had 5 stages, at the first you would see the leaf go from its happy place,
YMCA,
to maybe it'll become more flat and more level. Then it'd start to drop. Then it'd start to kill. Then the stem at the top will bend. When it does this, all of the leaves are becoming severely shriveled now. This is severely bad for the plant. It's detrimental. However, the plants are strong and it will recuperate, but the leaves that were the most shriveled and curled up, they will simply crisp out and drop off. You will lose a lot of leaf, and leaf means energy. Solar panels, how the plant lives, you require these leaves. Underwatering can
be
devastation. 3 days of continuous underwatering.
If you've been feeding normally, and you're used to what pattern you're giving your plant, and everything's been going fine for 4, 5, 6 weeks, and all of a sudden the plant goes, woof, wilts. You're like, but I haven't underwatered them and given them the same that I always give. Look at your thermometer, check the humidity, check the temperatures. If there's been a sudden drop in humidity, a sudden rise in temperatures, transpiration rates increase. Basically, the plant loses more water and therefore drinks more water. So you need to then compensate and give more water. Hence, you won't be underwatering your plant. But again, you've got to be really, when we say plant whisperer, you've got to be a plant whispering detective as well, because this underwater and droopiness can also be another sign of pythium, of root rot, like it is with overwatering.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at all aspects, and like Thomas said before, look at the whole picture and make sure that you're not just finding the first thing that pops up and going, oh yeah, it's me pH, that's the problem, and
you need to
assess everything. Yeah, and make sure that you've seen the whole picture and then you spotted the big cause, and then you treat that and don't let it get too far ahead of itself. Prevention, monitor your water levels closely, make sure you're not overdoing it or underdoing it, and basically this really comes down to experience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The more experience you get, easier it's going to be to monitor overwatering, underwatering. And that's pretty much it for underwatering. It's simple. If your plants are light and the cocoa, if you're using cocoa soil, cracks around the edges, not enough
nutrient burn, did we mention that before? We're going to have to touch on some of these points a bit briefly.
So basically, your plant is going to show you it is having too much nutrients by the tips of the leaf start to go
tips
brown.
of the leaf start going brown. The colour of the leaf of the plant will change to a severe dark green. It will no longer have a shiny sheen on it like a glossy magazine.
Yeah.
It will be a dark, deep green. It will have burnt tips. Some flowers may start to be seeing some distortion as well,
because the plant then starts to not want to uptake other nutrients.
You should be checking this with your EC. I guarantee that if a plant's in that condition, your EC will be over 3.2, or it'll be off the scale probably.
In bad situations. The other way it could happen though is in the summer, high temperatures, low humidity, again like we just said before, the plant starts to drink a lot more. So if you're feeding at an EC of 1.8, 2, and that's been fine throughout your whole career, your experience, 1.8 is fine at that stage, and all of a sudden you get nutrient burn. It's because your temperatures are too high, the plant starts drinking more, the plant has more nutrients. So in hot conditions you need to just maybe even give it a flush, but definitely reduce that EC. So that's a top tip for if the temperatures get a little bit high, because of your lights or the outdoor environment, reduce the EC and maybe even give it a flush. That could help as well. But yeah, the basically prevention is go and get yourself a trunction or an EC pen and measure the feed that you give, measure carefully, and flush periodically to prevent build-up of salts. What's he saying?
Barry's saying, if you're overwater, you're just a murderer.
Nice one, Barry. Barry!
Right.
Root rot, the last one.
We did actually cover on some points, some plant sniffing. Root rot, anyway, is rotting of the roots.
Really?
Yes. Seriously, it's rotting of the roots.
And you will see symptoms. You could see any symptoms that we've just talked about over the last 55 minutes.
Yeah.
It be basically because the root zone is the life force of the plant. Underwatering, overwatering, pH swings, underfeeding, overfeeding, too cold, too warm. Every single one of those things affects the roots.
Yep.
And a lot of them can contribute to root rot. Root rot, brown, sludgy roots, slimy,
stinky, sewagey smell.
And they're not working efficiently anymore.
No.
They don't work at all.
You need to remove the moisture out of the water, check the pH, and nurture them. Yeah. Nurture them, let them start searching. Again, get them white and fluffy again.
Root rot is pythium.
Yeah.
And pythium can only take hold in anaerobic conditions, which is without oxygen. Right. Okay. So without oxygen and in temperatures that are warm. So to prevent it, really oxygenate your root ball and make sure that your temperatures are 18 degrees Celsius. 18 degrees Celsius. Don't care what anybody else says. 18 degrees Celsius is the scientifically proven sweet point. If you go too high, nutrients
past 24 degrees, is it?
Oxygen levels just drop off completely.
It's got nothing in there.
And too cold, nutrients absorption isn't occurring. So 18 degrees in all medias. Cure, I've just said it. 18 degrees and keep it well oxygenated. Yeah. If pythium does take hold, though, remove the affected roots, some people like to treat with a hydrogen peroxide
I
solution
don't.
because it
I
kills everything.
I'll just slow the whole watering process down. I'll starve
Strip
the
all
plant.
the bad roots.
Yeah, I'll pull out some of the bad stuff.
And inoculate with beneficial bacteria.
Yeah,
to help
definitely.
compete
Yeah,
them. And that's basically it.
yeah.
Number one product to outcompete Pythium, in my experience, is Hydroponics' Gavita.
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap, £15 for a bottle. You dose it in with your plants. It also helps prevent spider mite, but is a really key product in preventing Pythium. Even if your temperatures go a little bit too high and maybe oxygenation in the root ball isn't
I
great,
use Dutch Pro's take
Gavitas-
root again. Good product, keeps them. I don't have that problem. They stay proper like dead white and fluffy with all loads of little tiny hairs.
It's the combination, isn't it, of take root and multizyme.
Yeah,
That's the enzyme product, isn't it? The two, so the multizyme breaks down dead roots, and the take root helps produce new ones. So helping prevent root rot.
that's it for us, though, isn't it?
That is it for us.
So
That's it. The plant whisperer.
yeah,
A lot of you are probably thinking, but he hasn't touched on leaves killing inwards,
killing outwards, or
leaves falling apart, and one leaf popping out,
or the pest and disease, that leaflet as well.
It would have been a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah.
So, if you've enjoyed that one,
More pest and disease.
oh look, there's a nice, lovely picture of botrytis on grapes
Oh yeah,
and powdery
powdery mildew.
aphids.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That is a really.
I
good
told
thing,
you,
isn't it?
it's very good, very, very good. You can come and pick this up from the shop anytime you want, and if you can't, I'll send you one out.
Right, I'm going to finish on a fact.
Go on.
Grey mold, botrytis, is actually encouraged in certain varieties of grapes for a sweeter wine.
I remember you telling me that. Well, it's a good job we've got loads of it then on our ones.
Is it? I think it's got to be a specific strain of grape. Or is that just the excuse?
No,
We're
I
just making-
specifically wanted botrytis on our grape.
sweeter
Yeah,
wine.
yeah, that's we're creating a specific sweetness.
You like the sweet wines, don't you?
Yeah.
I do. I hate it when people join and we're about to sign off, but if you've just joined, you missed us live,
Yeah.
but you can always watch us in the comfort of your own home over dinner. Stream us to your television and put us on in front of the whole family. We're a very family-friendly
You might
show.
have to put some earphones on the kids, like, because Steve can't stop swearing. I have been trying to teach him, some elocution lessons, but it is what it is, isn't it? So
It is. So, we are going to sign off on the podcast.
yeah,
Thank you very much for listening to you can put
episode
that
84. by the
Episode
way.
84. Thank you for listening. It was the Plant Whisperer with
Plant
myself,
Whisperer.
Stephen.
Just one last point. The plant whisperer, to become a plant whisperer, is a very difficult task, and it takes a long time. So start learning now, and maybe in a few years.
The
you'll
journey
really
never
be there.
ends.
No, it never will. I'm still learning every day myself. So
Always an upward curve.
definitely. But thanks very much,
Thanks very much, and
Thanks very much,
we will be back next week at the same place, same time.
Nanu.
See you later, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.